Hello everybody on the internet watching, and welcome to the final game of Week 8 of the Totally Normal Football League. We're here in an okay day in Wyoming as the Janitors welcome the Seattle Stoats to town, and while it is not a must-win game for the Stoats, if they want to continue controlling their own destiny in their quest to get a playoff spot, they need to beat the top-rated Wyoming Janitors, who lead the division with a towering 6-1 record. Scratch that, 5-1, or yeah, 6-1. No, I'm not incorrect. And the Janitors have even won the opening coin toss. They have deferred possession, so it will be Craig Quaffit, the former Janitor himself, kneeling for a touchback in the end zone after a powerful bronze shoulders kick. And so it'll be Billy Brumbus and co. all aboard the Brum bus, if you will, as they get their first possession at the 20. The Stoats, a really rocky middle of the season so far, but they're going to have to execute really well here. Good run up the middle for an 8-yarder, stopped by Tracy Charger and fellow safety Zach Racer. That was Girani foul play, and what you're seeing there is one of the greatest strengths of the Stoats. When their run blocking is on point, you are going to see foul play and hardball run all over defenses. However, there are some games where they just can't get anything to go right with their blocking, so we'll see what kind of game they're going to have today. Girani foul play, making an Etch-a-Sketch painting out of his route there, getting eventually a 1-yard gain. As one of the Janitors appeals to the referee for perceived holding. First down run to the 31. Billy Brumbus, outside pitch, and no block secured on Jaco Tahoe Jr. That's going to be stopped for no gain. That was Clint Hardball on the outside run. Perhaps running a bit too fast, outrunning his lead blocker on the pulled guard. 2nd and 10. Brumbus back to throw. Janitors send 5. Brumbus rolling out of the pocket. He throws it directly to Bill Pickle. That is not how you play football there, Brumbus. Yeah, look at this. It just basically Bill Pickle just picks it up. It was intended to go over his head, but Brumbus choosing the wrong throw. That's just been happening with every quarterback this week. And you have to think back all the way to these two teams' opening game of the season, where it was a 10-3 victory for the Janitors, and both quarterbacks throwing 7 interceptions. Bogdan throwing it over the middle, attempting to get it to Nathan Saylor on a good crossing route, who got in front of some defenders. However, he wasn't able to get his hands on it, knocked incomplete. After that interception, the Janitors are at the Stoats 29. I formation here. Tyler McFridge has been a highlight on runs, and for that reason, he gets a nice 6-yarder. Taking an alternate route there to the numbers. It'll bring up a 3rd and 4. Bruce Bogdan standing in the shotgun. It's been mostly Ivan Mold this season. However, since Mold got... Oh, throw out of the sack. Great pressure there from the Stoats. However, when Ivan Mold went down with a broken jaw midway through the season, Bogdan moved from wide receiver back to his native position at quarterback. Bogdan was the quarterback for the Janitors in their Season 1 campaign that brought them to the Normal Bowl. And now a 41-yard field goal attempt by Bronze Shoulders. Dead center. Janitors up 3 at home. Stoats doing a good job at making sure that no more damage was done after that Billy Brumbus turnover. He pretty much gave the ball directly to Bill Pickle. And Craig Quaffit going to kneel again for a touchback, so the Stoats will once again start at the 30, or at the 20, sorry. Johnny foul play and Brent feels strong in the I formation. Brumbus will step back to throw. Janitors send 4. Throw to the flat. It's picked up by foul play for a 5-yard gain. Good throw there by Brumbus, and that was a pretty interesting play call. Because when foul play caught the ball, he had almost had a blocker. Keegan Silverblood in motion. More I formation goodness from the Stoats. Foul play up the middle. First down and then some. As Bill Pickle has to tackle him from behind. Good run there. Stoats fighting to the 34. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the first. More I formation. Foul play off tackle. He's got a lead, and that's going to be almost 10 yards. Tracy Charger struggling to bring down the charging foul play. Stoats at the 43. And yes, it'll be 9-yard gain, 2nd and inches. And we're really seeing the strengths of the Stoats right now. When they get all their blocks, they are incredible. But if they don't, that happens. That was Perry Bulkison getting the big stop for no gain. As we get defense chants here in Wyoming, which are all too common. Of course, jerseys of the cleanup crew, that defensive line, probably the best-selling jerseys of any other position on that team. 3rd and inches for Brumbus. Lined up in a big I form, and Hardball will get the first down, but not much more than that as he's stopped at the 45. Good over there for the Janitors, but unable to prevent the first down. Clint Hardball, the lone back. Marcus Gameloud set in motion. That'll be a 3-yard gain. Steve Rail on the tackle. Clint Hardball being brought to the ground after a short gain. Stoats at the 49 at midfield. Clint Hardball, once again the lone back. And he's going to go up the middle. He's going to be a yard short of a first down. The Stoats really charging up the middle. Stoats in enemy territory, 2.5 yards away from a first down. Will continue to use the I formation. The Janitors loading up the tackle box. It'll be play action. And it'll be caught by Bram Van Spakelos. Bobby Williamson running alongside him, but the Cookie Dutchman reaches out in front of him and gets the pass. That was tight coverage. The pass is good for a first down. And the Stoats are making a really calm, careful drive. Really soaking up the play clock. This is more the Stoats you like to see, as they are at the Janitors 43. Off tackle, handoff for Johnny. Foul play, stop for no gain by Tracy Charger on the run-stopping blitz. One-yard gain, 2nd and 9, 26 seconds remaining in the first. And foul play stop for no gain. That large crunch you just heard there was Alan Combo splattering him to the ground. Alan Combo, a third-year legend defensive tackle on the Janitors. As we end the first quarter of play, the Janitors scored a very quick interception thanks to Bill Pickle, which was then turned into a field goal. But since then, it's been all Stoats who have maintained this drive ever since stopping the Janitors on their second possession of the game. Third down attempt. Brumbus Throws an interception to Len Players, who returns it up the right side of the field past the Janitors 40. Intended for the playmaker on the Stoats when it comes to pass plays. That was Frank Mellenballer, but Billy Brumbus didn't put enough air under the ball, and the lanky Len Players easily reaches up to snatch it. A big turnover for the Janitors to bring an end to a lengthy Stoats drive. Stoats, oh man. So that's going to count as a tuck rule sack. Bogdan rolling out of the pocket. And mid-throw, runs into Yaden Floatboat. Gonna be oh, it was a sack, actually. A 3-yard sack. I saw the ball fly out of his hand, so I thought it was going to get tuck ruled. And yeah, now Bogdan with split back. Stoats blitz out! And that was a nice attempt. That was number 48. What the heck is 48 on the... Oh, that was Kentucky, the fullback. Sorry. I should know who 48 is. Kentucky surprised a lot of people after he was signed by the Janitors after the Week 7 trade deadline. Big blitz from the Stoats. He's going to test the Sittler matchup, but he's triple covered. That'll bring up 4th down. Yeah, Kentucky, the brand new fullback for the Janitors. Janitors made some big trades ahead of Week 7. They got rid of Johnny Jackson and Stan Hiddums, who were backup players on the offensive line. They were able to get both Owen Cantwell and another player I can't quite remember. And Craig Quaffit appears to have injured his leg on the play. The punt kick returner for the Stoats and former Janitor quarterback turned wide receiver is limping off. That is the second time in today's doubleheader that a kick punt returner has been injured. Justin Threadbare went out for the Shitbirds with a broken toe. Now the Stoats at the 35. It's a throw to the corner route, and once again, not enough air put underneath it, and you gotta put so much air under it to get over the lanky, I guess he is lengthy. I mean, I wouldn't know. Len Players, who can just, like, reach up 10 feet for that damn ball, I swear to God. 2nd and 10 for the Stoats. Keegan Silverblood being audibled away from the offensive line. Girardi foul play up the middle, stopped for minimal gain thanks to Steve Rail. And Bill Pickle has injured his elbow on the play. Bill Pickle already injured once this season. He missed a handful of games before returning. And I'm worried he might have re-aggravated his injury in his arm. We'll get an update on both him and Craig Quaffit as soon as we can. 3rd down try. And that's going nowhere. Bill Pickle already responsible for 1 interception that led to the only points scoring drive of the game. Now Gabriel the Savior out to punt here in the 2nd quarter. Barry Chucker's getting quickly brought down at the 25. It'll be Bogdan and co. 6 minutes and 17 seconds remaining. I formation. Play action. Bogdan throws it. He's got Ken McStone on separation. He's brought down by Ryan Coulier, though, at the Stoats 25. A big play by one of their big players. Ball spotted at the Stoats 22, and immediately they're already in field goal range once again. That was Bogdan's first completion of the game, and it was a gigantic 52-yarder. Hand off to Tyler McFridge. Some trickery at play, but no one fooled. Virgie Hamilton bringing that down for a loss of 2. Again, the Stoats, if they want to control their destiny and get a number 2 playoff spot, they need to win this game, so they need to stop Bogdan, but they can't do that if they let Gregory McBetterson get a huge reception to the 1 on a tight end post route. Look at this, open space, everyone has to converge on him, and I wonder if that should have been a touchdown. He pretty much broke the play to the goal. I'd have to see where they marked the knee. It's inside of the 1. And the Janitors will have 4 tries to get 6 here. The Stoats filling up the tackle box to respond to this big formation of the Janitors. But Bogdan is going to continue to throw it. Tries to get it to Ken McStoat on the outside. Well, he was able to get in front. The ball was slightly off target. Second and goal. Bogdan once again throwing it to the side, trying to get it to Ken McStoat on a comeback. That'll bring up third down. Interesting that the Janitors are throwing it this close to the goal line. Of course, now they're bringing out the goal line formation. And it will be a fourth down. The fullback handoff, unable to break through. Oh my God, you can't get any closer than that. The Janitors going for a field goal. The Janitors will lead 6-0 here in the second. Aided by a huge Ken McStoat catch, and Gregory McBetterson being pixels away from breaking the plane of the goal line. And oh, that is Craig Quaffit back, so whatever injury he got was not a serious one. And honestly, I don't remember getting an update on Bill Pickle either, so maybe he's already returned. I'll keep my eye out for him here as we close out the second quarter. Yeah, 57, there's Bill Pickle, so thankfully both teams avoiding any serious injuries. Johnny foul play, cutting up the middle. He'll spin for a 3-yard gain. Stoats at their own 27-yard line. A quick hike, and foul play is stopped for a 1-yard loss by Jamal Indybone. And what a catch! That was Ollie Misselmove, 3rd year Stoats veteran, under tight coverage, making a miraculous first down catch in traffic. That was a hell of a catch to the 35, first down for the Stoats. 2 minutes and 20 seconds and counting remaining. Brumbus in the shotgun. Play, oh, he gets it to foul play. Run from the shotgun will go for 5 yards as we hit the 2-minute warning. Brumbus at the 40, throws it, and pretty much throws it directly at Frank Mellenballer, but he didn't make an attempt to catch it. We've hit the 2-minute warning, 1 minute and 57 seconds remaining. Stoats scoreless in this first half. Brumbus already throwing 2 interceptions, but thankfully the defense has made 2 great goal line stands limiting both scoring drives to field goals for the Janitors. And Brumbus throws it to the flat, and Bobby Williamson on good coverage swipes it away, and they'll have to punt this one. Barry Checkers calls for the fair catch as the ball bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Bogdan in the shotgun. At the 20, Stoats only send 3. Bogdan has a lot of time as he throws it downfield to number 17, but it's out of bounds. That's Owen Cantwell, the former pass rusher for the Rollers, who was a fantastic pass rusher, mind you. The Janitors giving up a second-round pick to trade him, to try and get him on wide receiver, and he almost got his first huge reception playing for the Janitors there, but he was slightly thrown out of bounds. Blitz from the Stoats, and Bogdan throws an interception. And the Stoats will get it at the 5. Hey Soul, thank you very much for the raid. We're here in Wyoming as the Janitors are facing the Seattle Stoats. These are the teams of Shift the Links and Musiquil. Friend of the stream, Musiquil. Stoats scoreless here, but with a minute and 34 remaining in the second, Billy Brumbus and the Stoats just got an interception. And Girani foul play fighting his way to the 2-yard line, trying to score the first touchdown of the game. Brumbus to throw, throws it to the flat. It's caught on a wheel route by foul play, and that will be a touchdown for the Stoats. The Janitors going full run stop there. They leave the right side of the field open. And the extra point is good. Stoats lead by 1 with a minute and 21 remaining in the first half. Barry Chuckers at the 5 will return it up the middle. He'll get a hard hit from Riley O'Reilly Jr. So Bogdan will pick it up at the 25. A minute and 19 remaining. Janitors only down by 1. This is a must-win game for the Stoats. If they want to keep their own destiny. Throw to the flat. It's caught by Ken McStoat for a 14-yard gain for the 40. And that is why height advantage is just so important on wide receiver right there. Bogdan remaining in the shotgun. Stoats send 4. Bogdan throwing over the middle. Ken McStoat gets it to the Stoats 30. That's like McStoat's second huge reception of the game on 3 catches. He's almost at 100 yards as the Janitors use their first timeout. We already have a much more electric game than these two teams' first outing all the way back at the very beginning of the season. I formation for the Janitors. They're going to hand it off to McFridge off tackle. Picks up a good block for a 6-yard run. As the Janitors use their second timeout. Janitors have yet to score a touchdown. Once they get inside the 20, they've been stopped by the Stoats. Bogdan empty set. Stoats sending 5. They throw it up. Tries to get it to McStoat. That could have been very dangerous. That ball was deflected high in the air, and there were like 3 Stoats in the area. It's a wonder why that wasn't intercepted. And now Bogdan, standing in the shotgun, has 2.5 yards to convert a first down. 52 seconds remaining. They are within field goal range. It's a quick throw, trying to get to Ken McStoat. But good coverage on Ryan Coulier will knock it incomplete. And out comes Braun Shoulders with the go-ahead field goal. This crowd actually booing the decision to kick the field goal rather than go for it. And the kick is good. Janitors lead 9-7. On shoulders. It's a regular kickoff to an awaiting Craig Quaffit at the 6. He'll return it up the middle. Flattened once again by Reagan Buzzword. So Brumbus has 43 seconds to try and regain the lead. 43 seconds and 3 timeouts. They're at the 27. Very big pressure there from the Janitors. Brumbus has to throw it away. Brumbus stays in the shotgun. 4 wide receivers set. Janitors, great man coverage there. Williamson defending against Bram van Spijkelaus. A quick third down here for the Stoats. Third and 10. Stoats still at their 27. Brumbus back to pass. Good pressure there from the Janitors. And that's going to be a 3 and out. Gabriel DeSavier walks out for his 3rd punt of the game. Harry Chuckers back to receive. He's behind the 20, and he'll get a pretty good return here. Not a lot of Stoats in the area. He gets stopped at the 40. And Bogdan will have another chance to put points on the board, as he's got 60 yards to go. But not a lot of time to get there. 25 seconds, and I think they at least have 1 timeout remaining. We'll see what they do here. Tyler McFridge, the lone back on this normal set. Bogdan will throw. Stoats send 5. Tries to get it to Owen Cantwell. Tipped away. Quick step back for Bogdan. Gets it to Nathan Sittler, who's going to be a yard away from the 50. After the completion, the Janitors will have to use their final timeout with 19 seconds remaining. So if they do a running play here to try and get the first down, they'll have to spike it immediately afterwards, but it looks like they're settling on passing at their own 49. Big blitz, and look at that! McStoat to the 20. They'll have to rush to formation. 12, 11, 10 seconds remaining. Bogdan might spike it here to set up the field goal. They're not hiking it. Why didn't they hike it? Okay, I guess not everyone was set up. I didn't see where the wide receivers are. However, it's not all bad. The Janitors will get possession of the ball back. They did win the opening coin flip. Gary Chuckers returning it down the middle of the field. He gets to past the 30 before being tackled by Dennis Creamy. Gregory McBetterson on the move. Janitors at the 31. Outside pitch to Tyler McFridge. That's not Kentucky, sorry. That is Spencer Hammerpants. Attempted to secure the block, but Tyler McFridge's speed gets him some good yardage on that stretch play nonetheless. Bogdan empty set for the 2nd and 5. High snap, he reaches up for it, over the middle, it's complete to Gregory McBetterson at the 45. That was tight coverage even by Elijah Beard, but great work by Betterson to get his hands on it. That was a nice bazooka shot by Bogdan to get it to him. First down at the 47. Janitors still on their side of the field. McFridge the lone back. It's going to be a counter run. McFridge is going to get past the 50. Shakes a tackle to the Stoats 45. That'll bring up first down. God, for someone who's like watching all the time. No, not even first down. It was on first down. That's definitely what I meant. 7 yards on the gain. Janitors on the Stoats side of the field now at the 46. It's a handoff to McFridge off tackle, but he's stopped. McBetterson unable to generate a lane for him. That'll be a tiny gain. It'll be 3rd and 2. Bogdan was in the full house formation. Now, usually when they do this, they hand it off to the tight ends, but it'll be McFridge on the counter run to the 40 for a first down. Janitors have a good drive going here. They're at the Stoats 40 and they're chewing off play clock. We're already 3 minutes into the third quarter. Tie game now in to relieve Tyler McFridge. Bogdan in the pocket, throwing it. Gets it to Nathan Sittler for a nice 9-yard completion to the Stoats 30. I formation, Kentucky and tie game behind Bruce Bogdan. It'll be a up the middle run by tie game. That'll be good to the Stoats 35. And the Janitors are chipping away yardage on this run. On this drive, that is. 4 minutes remaining. More I formation goodness. Some trickery, and tie game doesn't get much, or gets tackled for a loss by Virgie Hamilton. Nobody faked out by the fullback handoff. And now we'll bring up a 3rd down conversion and a bit of a ways to get there. Bogdan's going to be in the shotgun. 5-wide receiver set. Stoats send 3, but McStoat, slant route over the middle, gets it almost to the Stoats 10. That was great work there by Bogdan. Recognizing the 5-man blitz, McStoat went into open space in the middle of the field and got a ton of yardage for it and a first down. Janitors doing great on this drive, getting to the Stoats 10, but the pressure getting to him. That was Craig Holgrains on the tuck rule sack. Two minutes 50 remaining in the third. Bogdan in the full house formation. However, McBetterson is audible to a tight end. Play action. Bogdan throwing over the middle, and it's caught by Nathan Sittler, but his left foot was deemed out of bounds. That would have been a crazy touchdown pass, as Sittler was actually behind the man defending cornerback. That's the definition of throwing it where only a receiver can get it. 3rd and 10 now in the red zone. Stoats blitz it. Oh, that's number 17. Owen Cantwell with a big reception. Was that for a first down, though? Yes, it was. It was caught at the 1. However, the last time the Janitors were at the 1, the Stoats stopped them to a field goal. We'll see what happens here. 2 tight ends. McFridge is the lone back. Bogdan will throw it. Throws it to the flat. Gets it to Nathan Sittler for a touchdown. Let me watch the feet here. That's legal. That's good. The right foot was on the ground during the catches. We get about 2 frames there of Sittler being swarmed by his teammates. The Janitors go up another 6. The score 15-7. Broad Shoulders kicks the extra point. It is now 16-7. Janitors up 9, and again the Stoats need a win in enemy territory here tonight. While they aren't eliminated from the playoffs, should they lose to the Janitors tonight, they will not control their destiny in terms of trying to fight for that number 2 spot. The Stoats entered this week as the worst team in the over there division by only 1 loss, with the Beefers and Shitbirds entering with a 4-3 record. The Stoats with a 3-4 record. And in order to keep pace with the Beefers, who won earlier tonight, is number 40 gets a good return to the 30. That was Ryan Coulier. If the Stoats want to control their destiny and fight for that number 2 spot, they gotta pull off the win here tonight. However, Bogdan really cleaned up his team's mistakes from the first half on that 3rd quarter drive, and foul play getting stopped for no gain by Michael Southpaw isn't helping things either. But with the Janitors playing much cleaner than they were in the first quarter, the Stoats also need to pick up the pace. 1-yard gain. Stoats at their own 36. Empty set here for Brumbus under center. Janitors send 4. Open space over the middle to Ollie missile move. Now this might be a pixel away from a first down. However, the crowd isn't chanting defense, so it might have been good. Yes, it was good. To the 45. Fresh set of downs. Brumbus in the I formation. That's Fieldstrong and Gironi foul play behind him. 55 seconds remaining in the 3rd. Outside pitch, and it's all Stoats blockers for a broken tackle. That's a 14-yarder as Tracy Charger was pushed down by foul play. First down as the Stoats move the chains. They're at the Janitors 41, trying to get a nice pass to Brandon Waves over coverage. But you generally have to be looking at the football to aid your endeavor of catching it, and that man was backwards. Mid pirouette. That's not how you catch a that's not how you catch a football. 2nd down. Brumbus in the shotgun beside Clint Hardball. Michael Southpaw showing blitz. And he does. Over the middle. It's intercepted by Bobby Williamson. That was Brant Van Spikelost on a post route and double covered by the safety and Williamson. The Janitors will get the ball at their own 24. A great turnover for them as the Janitors maintain their 9-point lead. And the Stoats are getting more and more frustrated. 10 seconds to go in this quarter. It's going to be a play action. Throw to the flat. Intended for a Kentucky wheel route of sorts. Defended by Leonard Kapowski, the former Beefer. The incomplete pass freezes the clock at 4 seconds to go. Bogdan empty set in the shotgun. Stoats send 4. Over the middle is Ken McStoat on a nice drag route to the 30. And that ends the third quarter of play. Janitors in control of the ball with a 9-point lead. The Stoats need a stop and they need a touchdown and then some to get back the lead in this game for the upset and to keep control of their destiny as they look for a number 2 playoff spot. Bogdan throws it deep to a triple cover Nathan Sittler, and it is going to be a turnover for Dennis Creamy, who snags the interception nearby the Stoats 45. That was Nathan Sittler running a corner route, but the high fly ball was quickly converged upon by the Stoats, so by the time it got to him, he was triple covered. Stoats get possession here at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And off to Girani, foul play. Look at those blocks, folks! That's a big run to the Janitors 45. And that is Stoats football all the way down. Look at those blocks. Bam, bam! Crazy Charger and Zach Racer both tied up by the fullback Kentucky and the left tackle. That's beautiful plays. The Stoats find themselves on their opponent's 44. It's a draw play, but that's going to be stopped for only a single yard. Steve Rail bringing that one to a halt. Big blitz from the Janitors, and even then Tracy Charger slapping away the ball. That was a great blitz from the Janitors. They picked up the quick pass from Brumbus. Or they forced the quick pass, and Charger was all over it. That'll bring up a 3rd and long. Brumbus, play action, they throw it, and Len Players gets the tip away intended for Frank Mellenballer. And that'll bring up 4th down for the Stoats, who have a big decision to make here. It's 4th and long. They're outside of field goal range, and they will go for it. This is huge. And yet the AI never goes for it any other time. So who the hell knows? And it's incomplete, dude. What was that car crash of a 4th down play? Turnover on downs. The Janitors get it at their own 44. That was a good attempt, and man, that was intended for Brandon Waves, who ran into like 2 defenders, but the ball was knocked up and it looked like anything could have happened. Tyler McFridge draw play for a single yard to the 45. Six minutes, 10 seconds remaining. Bogdan rolls out of the pocket and just immediately gets slam rolled by Virgie Hamilton. Corey Blanchard completely missing his block on him, and Virgie Hamilton just immediately snowplows the boot play. That's going to be a gigantic sack. That's going to push it to a 3rd and very, very long. The Janitors might just run the ball here and then punt it away after that. Tie game, trying to get some yardage. That was the Janitors playing it safe. They are ahead by 2 scores right now. Don't want to give the Stoats any more possibilities for turnovers, especially after that last interception. Dan Popcapt will boot it as hard as he can. Craig Quaffett waving for the fair catch, and that's going to bounce into the end zone. And my voice picked up there because Ari DiVelcoro was running with a full head of steam towards that punt. And I thought maybe he could have been able to tip it before it went to the end zone, but that ball a bit too quick. Billy Brumbus needs a touchdown, and he's got 80 yards to traverse to get there. We'll see how he works with this upcoming 4 minutes and 55 seconds. High formation, Girani foul play gets the handoff for 4 yards up the middle. Brumbus in the shotgun. Throw to the flat. That's tipped away by Zach Racer. Third down for Brumbus, who stays in the shotgun beside Girani. Foul play. 4:20 frozen on the clock after that incomplete. Janitors only send 3. Throw to the flat is somehow caught by Bram Van Spakelos above Michael Southpaw, but that'll be behind the sticks. Stoats might still go for it. They are on their own 30, so this will be a risky go. But no, they will get Gabriel DeSavior out to punt. There's only 3 minutes and 50 seconds and counting remaining. Not sure if I agree with that decision. Barry Chuckers gets it to the 50, to the 45, and the Janitors will begin their next drive in enemy territory. And that is why you'll see punters purposefully out of bounds the ball at around the 45 or the 40 to prevent them from getting it onto enemy territory on the return. Even it might seem like a shanked punt. Kyle McFridge, 5-yard gain to the Stoats 40. Ryan Coolier's 5th tackle of the game. The Stoats need a stop here. The Janitors have only lost 1 game this season, but it was to the Beefers. They're 2-1 within their own division. 3 minutes remaining on the clock, and Kentucky gets a big lariat. Oh my God. Terry Bradshaw would be proud. Not Terry Bradshaw. What's his name? Tie game on the counter run. Was about to go off tackle, but then spun to go up the middle. However, there was not a lane there, and that was stopped for no gain. This will be a Bronze Shoulders 55-yard field goal attempt. The wind supposedly at the Janitors' back to help aid this one. This will be a long field goal as we hit the 2-minute warning. Shoulders. This will be the longest field goal Shoulders has made in a long time. We'll see how he does. Not even the best in the TNFL. Oh, that hits the crossbar, but bonks back in. That's a fielder. Bonks through, I should say. It hit the horizontal crossbar and in for 3 points. What a 55-yarder from Bronze Shoulders. Not every kicker in the TNFL can make that one. That is incredible. We found his maximum range, folks. Well calculated by the Janitors. They're up 19-7, up by 12. Ryan Coolier up the middle. He's stopped behind the 20 by Len Players. Now the Stoats have a lot of gaming to do. They need 2 touchdowns to go ahead 2. And they only have 1 minute and 53 seconds to do it. They still have all 3 of their timeouts. However, they're lined up in an I formation. It's going to be a throw. And what a jump by Michael Southpaw. That was to Keegan Silverblood, the tight end, who was running a sort of... well, like almost a seam route to the right corner of the field. But Michael Southpaw jumped up like 10 feet to swat the ball away. That was incredible. Stoats back to throw. Janitors send 4. They get it to the open they get to the open Keegan Silverblood. 6-yard reception. Brumbus in the shotgun. Timeout taken by the Stoats. And yeah, this Janitors crowd on their feet. They want to see their team get to 7-1. The Janitors Although I don't think they'll clinch with a win here tonight, but if they continue their winning ways, it's all but certain they will host the over-their divisional game. And man, Tracy Charger, I don't know what happened on the communication there with Bram Van Spakelos on that route, but Charger with another great tip away. And Brumbus with a key 4th down play. They are deep on their own side of the field. The Janitors will give them the killing blow should this be the turnover on downs. It's a Girani foul play run for a first to the 30. A great draw play call. Referee spotting him at the 28, but that's good for a first down no matter what. No huddle offense. Brumbus over the middle. Gets it to Keegan Silverblood to the 40. A minute and 20 seconds remaining. More no huddle offense. The Stoats need 2 touchdowns in less than a minute and 20. They get it to Keegan for a 3rd time in a row to the 45, and Bill Pickle has re-injured himself. He injured, I believe, his arm earlier, but it didn't tell us how he injured it. He was immediately back on the field. That injury giving us a timeout of sorts. A minute and 12 seconds paused on the clock. Stoats throwing it over the middle. It's caught by Frank Mellenballer at the 35 of the Janitors' side of the field. A minute and 5 seconds remaining. The Stoats not wanting to use a timeout. They're in go, go, go mode. A minute remaining over the middle. Complete to the tight end. That's Marcus Gameloud on the reception. More no-huddle offense. Throw to the flat is knocked incomplete by Jacob Tahoe Jr., which gives me a moment to catch my breath. 50 seconds remaining here in the 4th. The Stoats don't need to kick an onside kick because... they actually do because they used a timeout. They're at 2 right now. On this 3rd and 4 try, Brumbus back to throw. Blitz from the Janitors, but it's caught by number 19 who dives to the 1. That's Brandon Waves. Bill Pickle abdominal strain out for the game. 38 seconds remaining. Brumbus back to throw. Janitors crowd up. Throw out of bounds. I was about to say Janitors crowding up the middle of the field. That was Clint Hardball on a running back wheel route, but unfortunately, the pass thrown out of bounds. 32 seconds remaining on the clock. The Stoats need a touchdown here, and then they need to convert an onside kick, and then score another touchdown to win. 4 wide receiver set for Brumbus. Janitors blitz, throws a quick one, a bit of a kooky pass. Goes incomplete. 29 seconds remaining. This Janitors crowd is deafening. Brumbus in the shotgun, 3rd and goal, 29 seconds remaining. A lot of there we go. Jamal Indybone getting the sack, and now this is play of the game. 20 seconds and counting. The Stoats throw one up, and it's tipped away by Bobby Williamson. Turnover on downs, and the Janitors will win 19-7. And the Stoats no longer control their own destiny when it comes to getting a playoff spot. Interesting that the Janitors aren't kneeling here. With the Kentucky on the fullback handoff. Stoats using their 2nd timeout, but they should just kneel here and win. Janitors still running the ball. 12 seconds remaining. Maybe I'm dumb and I'm missing something. Perhaps they want to get McFridge some more yards before the play. And the Stoats! Encroachment penalty? What? Why? What is happening at the end of this game? So that's actually a thing that happens in real life. If you're at the end of the game, like, you can force a penalty like that, and that stops the clock, but the clock already wasn't running. As the Stoats use their final timeout. But again, there's still like 2 downs left, unless this is... Like, am I stupid? Like, the Janitors win here. Why am I freaking out like I have high blood pressure? What is why aren't we kneeling? This never happens in the TNFL. Usually the AI is good at picking when they should kneel. In fact, the AI knows they're wasting time as if the clock is running. Like, Bogdan, I think, is trying to get another encroachment penalty. He's doing a lot of hard counts. There we go, tie game on the off tackle. He'll get the first down past the 20. He'll get a big run. Spins to the 30. That's like, what the hell, dude? Okay, they were waiting for that. They just wanted to get tie game some yardage. And there's the end. 19-7 for the Janitors, who continue their campaign of terror here in the Over There division. Their only loss coming to the Beefers a couple of weeks ago. But other than that, they have had a spotless record. And the Stoats might have just been eliminated from the playoffs for the 3rd season in a row. They are the only band of the original 6 teams that have never made a playoff appearance. And that just, like, breaks my heart to say. 2 interceptions for Bogdan, 3 interceptions for Billy Brumbus. They're off by 2 in their first meeting together. Bogdan throwing 210 yards, though. That's cool. Foul play with the rushing total. No surprise there with how well he was doing. But only a 4.3 average. This is a bit below what he normally gets. McFridge with a 3 average. 31 yards on 10 carries. Ken McStoat, the most targeted receiver. 149 yards. By far the most of any wide receiver in this game. Gregory McBetterson also getting 2 key receptions. One of them almost for a touchdown. And, yeah, foul play. Keegan Silverblood got those 3 receptions in a row, which was a little cool. He was the most targeted on the Stoats. Vincent Van Glorp leads with pancakes. Xavier Honeybunson and Tyler Clark behind him. And Spencer Tamerpants leads the Janitors' pancake totals at 5. Elijah Beard, middle linebacker, leads the tackling total at 6. With Bill Pickle, who might be out for some time with an abdominal strain. We'll see how... that's the 2nd time this season Bill Pickle's been injured. Yeah, Elijah Beard leading in tackles. Sacks by Virgie Hamilton, Yaden Floatboat, and Jamal Indiebone. And 2 interceptions by Dennis Creamy. And Len players Bobby Williamson and Bill Pickle getting that immediate interception. 1 apiece each. And no forced fumbles.